Welcome back to Out of the Fog. Well, before the break, we heard a piece from violinist Lynn Kuo, a classical artist who's often integrates multiple artistic disciplines into her performances. And Lynn joins me now to explain her compositions and the inspiration behind her new album. It's called Love, Innocence, Passion, and Obsession. Lynn, welcome to Out of the Fog.
Thank you.
Well, it's great to have you here. So you're back in St. John's for a little while.
Yes.
Of course, you've been living and working in Toronto over the last number of years. How often do you get to come back home?
Oh, I would say at least twice a year, and sometimes more, sometimes less, but about average twice a year, and I get to stay with my family, which is great. Yeah. So I love coming back home, and actually it's kind of cool because then you can see the difference between mainlander culture and home culture, and I, bar none, is just friendlier here. And
when you do come back, you do, of course, have a chance to perform. To play some pieces.
Often, not all the time. Sometimes it's just to visit my family, but when I do get to play, it's a lot of fun. And whether it's with chamber music opportunities or orchestra, those are the two main things. Or solo, sometimes solo.
Do you find that there's a difference when you are performing? Do you find that there is a difference when you're, say, in Toronto versus when you're home? Do you tend to get a little bit more nervous at all when you're home?
It depends on the repertoire and the circumstance. I think if there's more pressure, then I'll probably get more excited. I guess it depends, yeah.
All right. You've combined a variety of disciplines and musical genres into your music, and I'm just wondering, what is it about these combinations, I guess, that really appeal to you in the music?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. I guess I get excited when you get to work with something new, and whether that means new repertoire or combining a different element with music, I get really stimulated by that. So yes, I have done works with, let's say, violin guitar combinations. Then I've done violin painter combinations. We were at the Gross Morn Summer Music Festival just recently, just 2 summers ago, and we were combining light acting on stage, moving around on stage with memorized lines. So I find all those things very intellectually and artistically stimulating. So anything that has to do with exploration, I find that interesting and exciting.
Yeah, tell us about the piece that you performed here at the top of the show for tonight.
Well, that is a piece by Astor Piazzolla. He's an Argentinian tango composer as well as a bandoneon player. He was also living in New York. He just recently passed away, I think, in the 1990s. He's very well known for his tango style and new tango style, actually. This piece is a tango etude, one of 6 tango etudes written for either solo flute or solo violin. And it's going to be on my CD release concert in Toronto on April 23rd.
Okay, we're going to get to your CD release in just a moment, but before we get to that, I'm just wondering, in terms of, you just described, obviously, the combinations and how it appeals to you. What exactly is it that inspires you?
About the piece?
Or just in terms of your music overall, in general. What is it that, that you draw from?
Gee, I don't know. I guess, whatever I feel inspired by, I guess most of my inspiration comes from people around me, because I'm always looking for inspiration in everything, in people who achieve, people who create, people who are compassionate, and I find inspiration in everything. I don't know if it's kind of a broad answer. However, I do apply that to my playing. Sometimes I even remember people that I respect, whether it's from my daily contacts at work or people even Mahatma Gandhi will inspire me and make me want to play something with a bit more soul or compassion. So I guess everything inspires me.
You have, as you mentioned, of course, a big CD release coming up. It's the CD, the title, it's called Love, Innocence, Passion, Obsession.
Yeah.
I was just wondering what the significance is behind this title. I was just wondering if that's that's the feeling that you get from playing.
Well, that's a good question. This program on the CD comes from a program that my pianist, Mariana Huimetska, we had started performing together for a number of years, and then we put together a program. We decided to put a theme throughout the program, love. And so there were many, many different aspects of love that we wanted to portray. And of course, innocence, passion, and obsession are just 3 of them. So everything on the CD represents an aspect of love. And it goes, well, for example, the Franck Sonata is the first 4 tracks. And that one, that piece was a wedding gift in 1886. One of the other pieces by Nino Rota was actually on a soundtrack for an Italian film in 1947, and the story was about a jealous lover who murdered his wife. So there's jealousy that's involved with love. Then there's a Canadian composer, Michael Peppa, and he lives in Toronto. He wrote a piece, and this Fantasy Bohemienne, it's a bohemian fantasy, and it comes from his love of his culture, which is Eastern Europe. So everything about the tracks reflects something about love, whether it's the jealousy or the filial love to your country, or the beauty of a wedding. It's yeah, I think it's going to be a very appealing program to many people.
Okay, well, I want to thank you very much for coming in, and
Thanks,
of
Erin.
course playing that piece for us and telling us about your CD release. And you're actually performing tomorrow night with the NSO.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, and the CD can be found on my website. So if everyone wants to find my website, it's there.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
We are going to take a very short break, but stay with us. We're going to hear from our volunteer panel just in about 30 seconds.